Hi there. Welcome to another episode of CREB Cast. My name is Sam Randhawa, and I am privileged to be joined today by our former Calgary Real Estate Board member and president, Jim Moore. Welcome to the CREB Cast, Jim. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here. One thing about the Calgary Real Estate Board is whether you're young or old, they look after you well.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that we're looking after you. So I just want to dive into asking you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And I'm going to start off with asking you, how long were you a member at the Calgary Real Estate Board?
At the Calgary Real Estate Board, roughly about 25 to 30 years.
Wow.
And I say that because I've been in real estate over 40 years.
Right. So prior to being an actual licensed realtor, how were you involved in real estate?
Prior to being involved in real estate, I was an entrepreneur. So I owned some Dairy Queen. I owned some apartment building. I purchased houses, and it whet my appetite to say, why not do it professionally?
Yeah.
And I got into real estate, and I just really loved it. I loved the camaraderie of the realtors at that particular time. And the Calgary Real Estate Board was something that I had longed for because I knew it was an organization that really looked after their realtors.
Well, that's really nice to know. I bet you were very popular with your friends when you owned the Dairy Queens.
Would feed them with so much Dairy Queen, they said, Jim, no more, no more.
We'll have to do another podcast to talk about your Dairy Queen
Right.
days. Can you tell me, why did you leave real estate? Because I know you weren't at an age of retirement.
I left real estate. It was during a time, if you remember, mortgage rates were double.
Oh, wow.
In other words, they went in double digits. And I was running a real estate company called Jim Moore and Associates. And if the realtors couldn't sell real estate, then I wasn't getting paid.
Right.
So it became a very tight time.
Mhm.
And one thing I realized is whatever happened, I wanted to make sure that my realtors were looked after. In other words, I would rather pay them out and then suffer that consequence than hold the money and not pay them. And you know what, Sam, what was so interesting is right out of the blue during the 80s, I had an offer from a bank in central Canada, and they said, Jim, we want to buy your company, but we want to sign you up for a 5-year contract.
Oh my goodness, wow.
And from the outside, it looked, man, this guy is a genius. But in reality, there was somebody looking after me. And they purchased my company, and from there, it was just Canada Trust, vice president of Western Canada, went to Vancouver, and then eventually president of Canada Trust, shall we say, all over Canada with hundreds of offices and many, many realtors. So I was still in the real estate business until one day I had a major heart attack.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what put me under a flatline. And here I am today, happy and proud to be still moving along. And I still love real estate.
That's fantastic. I get a sense that you've had a very exciting career, and then all of a sudden it was interrupted by your heart attack.
That is correct.
I just want to point out your hat. I don't know if you guys can see it at home, but it says doing good. And that is Jim all the time. I was lucky enough to reconnect with him a little while ago. And every time you meet him, he's in a great mood. He puts other people around him in a great mood, and he's always doing good. So I am really happy to see that you bounced back from your heart attack. I know a little bit of the story, and I know your daughter gave you a book where she had put in all your pictures and all the things that you had accomplished up until that point. And then the rest of the pages were blank. And she said, here you go, Dad. It's time to write your next chapter.
That is true. And that was starting at the starting line again.
Yes.
And it was a neat, very cool ride. I love people, and you know that.
Oh, I do. And it comes across very clearly that you do love people. So, what I would like to jump into next is what you did next after you recovered from your heart attack. And instead of just, feeling sorry for yourself and taking it easy, as I think most people would have done, and just make sure that, you do everything right and you're not, bringing any extra anxiety or stress into your life. You did the opposite. You went out and you looked for stress and anxiety while you were working on this amazing, amazing project that you had in mind. So I would really like to touch on your involvement with the Calgary Dream Centre.
Calgary Dream Centre became a reality when I was just a kid. My grandfather took me to a mission, and that was right downtown next to City Hall. And somehow I fell in love with these people that had lost their way. And I met doctors and engineers. And at that time, I really, as just a young boy, my job was, my grandpa would say, Jim, I want you to feed them peanut butter and jam sandwiches. And that was part of my little mission. And I actually fell in love with those people that had lost their way. And I thought, you know what? I carried that even when I went to Vancouver and Hastings Street. Then I went to Yonge Street in Toronto, and I would go out at noon hour, even though I was president of the real estate division, I would talk to all the homeless guys, and it just was a continuation. Then when I came back to Calgary, there was an old hotel on Macleod Trail, and a minister called me from Africa. He was doing a ministry over there. He said, Jim, let's buy that hotel on Macleod Trail. And I went and I negotiated the deal, and it was fantastic. And you know what really closed the deals?
I would love to know what will come.
It was the largest strip club in Calgary. And I said to the gentleman, what will your legacy be? Take clothes off women or put clothes on men? And believe me, tears started to run down his cheek. And he said, Jim, let's make a deal. And that, from there on, it just went upward. And with my banking experience and my real estate experience, we started with this hotel on Macleod Trail. And today, with the real estate background, we now have 48 properties.
Wow.
It was just amazing. We have 371 clients and 80 individuals that work for us. And now I turned it over to Craig Hill, and he is the new CEO, and they're doing a great job. New eyes bring new ideas, and I'm just really excited for the Calgary Dreams.
No, I don't even know. I have no words to express how I feel right now. As soon as you mentioned the statement that you made to the hotel owner, tears sprang to my eyes also because, oh my goodness, who wants their legacy to be taking clothes off anybody's back? So just for clarity, I just want to understand, is the Calgary Dream Centre specifically just for male clients, or do you also house female clients as well?
That's a great question, because when we put close to 10,000 men through our building, people would call up and say, Jim, what about the women? What about the gals? And that really perpetuated in my mind, how can we create a place which is safe for women? Because women need that safety, whereas men can do themselves, but gals are by themselves, and we just wanted to protect them. So we then set up some housing, and I bought an apartment building up in Bridgeland, and it was the best thing I ever did, watching these gals all of a sudden come to life again. and do the right things for themselves. And many of them got their kids back and remarried and all kinds of really cool stories.
How rewarding for you to watch from the outside, because you probably felt some paternal instincts with these people that you were watching going through these really, really challenging times. And so to see them come out on the other end and get their children back and seeing them being in healthy relationships with themselves and with a partner and just thriving, I'm sure that
Oh,
you've probably shed many tears over the years.
I have. And I think really what drove it home when the opportunity came to purchase some land in Calgary, I went and interviewed a number of these gals in different treatment centers. And one particularly gal really touched me. She said to me, she said, I'm going to have my baby next week. Are you by chance going to another center where my boyfriend is? And I said, actually, I am. And she said, would you tell him that I'm going to have my baby? And there was something inside that changed. We have to look after these gals, because if we don't look after them, the chances of them losing their baby because they don't have an address or a home was unbelievably sad.
What I would like to discuss is what is the next project that is on your agenda?
That project is called Earlton House, and it is a beautiful piece of property where my sister actually went to school when she was in elementary. It's by the Stampede ground, and it's a beautiful piece of land. And from there, we put our bid in with a few other organizations, and the city awarded us the land.
Wow.
And then, of course, we had to go to the next step. How are we going to raise?
Right. Can you give me a little bit of information about what the Earlton House is all about? Is it kind of similar to the Dream Center, or is it going to be a little bit different?
You always ask the great question. This house is for women and children,
Nice.
and it's going to be a 48-unit building with their own suite and common rooms so that the gals can get together, because there'll probably be a lot of young babies and children, and it'll give them an opportunity to have a home address at a convenient price, which is affordable.
Wow. So basically, you're giving them security by providing shelter and a permanent home address.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Because when I did some interviewing of some of these gals, many of the treatment centers for women are so fantastic. Some of these gals are pregnant and they have nowhere to go after they finish their courses. And then they have their babies. And if they don't have an address, then they're pretty vulnerable.
Right.
And when I interviewed, this one gal said to me, Jim, I'm having my baby next week. And would you do me a favor? I said, sure. Would you say to my boyfriend that I'm having my baby and just tell him I'm okay?
Wow.
And it really touched me because I felt something well up within myself and tears coming to my eyes and saying, this isn't right. This gal having a baby and nowhere to go. And that's what kind of sparked the project.
Wow.
And there was many people then that said, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your track record with the Calgary Dream Centre obviously made people feel confident in your next project that you were doing. And you're providing some valuable skills and, like I said, a place to call home. Is there a certain criteria that they must follow or fall into in order to qualify to be part of the Oulton House
Well,
resident?
they come in for an interview. We ask them what their goals are. We help them through the idea of having young babies because a lot of them are inexperienced. And then we say, you're going to be here for 5 years. And then we want you to start thinking about your future. But you know what? That's a step.
Yes,
But we
exactly.
got to help them, first of all,
Yes.
get an address
Yep.
and to
Absolutely.
make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
And it's completely then security. And it's a beautiful, beautiful building.
That's fantastic. So I would imagine out of the 48 units that there will be some that will have 1 bedroom and 3 bedroom units and so on and so forth.
Yes,
So that,
there's 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and there's a couple with 3 bedrooms.
yeah.
And the neat thing about it is having the gals come to a common area also. And there's also a daycare center,
Oh, wow.
which will be in there, which will give the ladies some freedom
Yes.
so they can go out and enjoy themselves, look for work, and at the same time feel an independent, which is so important for them.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like it's going to provide them independence, but it's also going to provide them with some sisterhood because there is that common place that they will be meeting each other and having a conversation maybe at the end of a hard day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you nailed it right there. Because gals seem to, if they share, they're very open,
Yes, we are.
and sharing is part of the healing.
Yes.
And what a joy it'll be when you see these gals heal up and their little babies grow up.
Yes.
Maybe playgrounds there. There's a little gardens there,
Wow.
and it's going to be just. I am so happy.
Yeah.
Actually,
It sounds exciting, and it sounds like you've thought of everything to bring them peace and joy and love. I'm sure that they will thrive. My next question to you is, how will Earlton House be funded? Where is that money going to come from?
that is the $1 million question, and we have the federal government working with us. We have the city of Calgary. They're working with us. We're asking the province to step up. But the greatest joy for me is when the Calgary Real Estate Board came and we put a grant in. And I can't tell you, I was tearful when I heard the gift and the fact that something that I had poured my life into as even a past president. I love the Calgary Real Estate Board because they're professional. They care. They look after their people well. And they came up with a gift which was mind-blowing.
That's fantastic. I'm not going to pretend that I don't know. I do know about the gift. And we were privileged enough, the Calgary Real Estate Board Charitable Foundation approved the Calgary Dream Centre to get $1 million over 3 years. And so we've made the first payment and we will continue to work with them in a volunteer capacity. And hopefully abundance of money will allow them to do the things that that Jim and his team are dreaming of doing. So we are so privileged to be part of this journey. It just touches everybody, what you do.
When the foundation came to present Craig Hill, our new CEO, with the check, there were people there that I knew, of course, but I admired that we were so privileged and honored to receive this because there's so many good works.
Yes.
And this will be a legacy also for the Calgary Real Estate Board. And I remember back in the day, many years ago, Bob Ward, where the Dream Center or where the Calgary Real Estate Board poured money into that and to McDonald House. And what an organization. I got to say, you realtors out there, thank you. And thanks for the foundation. and you're with the cutting edge of real estate in Canada. And your gift and generosity is beyond my imagination.
Thank you for that, Jim. I know that our members are very proud to support the Charitable Foundation, and they're always very giving. And we're very, very lucky to have the people that we have in our circle. So I appreciate that. And it's interesting that the grant that you received is called the Legacy Grant. And as you touched on it, not only is it a legacy for CREB, but also for Jim Moore. This is amazing. And I'm really glad that we were able to award the Calgary Dream Centre with that kind of money.
Thank
I know
you.
it will be well used. Does this legacy grant move you closer to bringing your project to fruition?
I would say that that grant all of a sudden alerted the board of directors, this is going to be real. And our CEO, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah,
And it was a trigger point,
excellent.
which
Excellent.
pushes us forward.
That's awesome. We're glad to help you help propel you forward. When do you envision the Earlton House to be completed?
When we start, there's a school to demolish,
Okay.
and that's been looked at. And so that will be happening soon. And from the minute that school goes down, then it'll be a year later
Oh.
that we will be up and running.
That sounds like
So,
a quick
oh,
timeline.
Very, very exciting.
Yeah,
Everything is in place,
that's fantastic.
and I'm sure it's exciting
Yeah,
for all the folks that work at the Dream Center and for the gals that are going to enjoy the
Yes.
opportunity.
absolutely. Knowing you the way I know you and Craig, you guys have probably got everything organized and you're just ready to get that green light. And once it's demolished, you're good to go. Is your sister still around? The one that went to school there?
Yes, she is. She
Yeah.
lives in Edmonton,
Okay.
and I won't hold that against her. I know the school very, very well.
Yeah. My sister lives in Edmonton as well. I don't hold that against her either. But I thought maybe it would be kind of cool for your sister to come down and watch the demolition of the school. Just because, sometimes we don't, there's not great memories in school.
Yeah.
What
Well,
is it?
Sam, you're very, very creative, and I'll put that in my journal.
There you go. Are there any words of wisdom that you would like to share with the new realtors that are coming into the business or just people in general?
I would really like to share that as the new realtors come into the business, one thing that has held us in good stead, and historically, and this goes along with the Calgary Real Estate Board, is all the information that you gather is not wasted. You can bring it forward because every experience brings you into a new day, into a new moment. And the moment that I recognize so deeply is your name is everything. The integrity of doing the right thing and treating your fellow and your gal with total honesty. And that's one thing that the real estate board has been known over the years. And we help each other. And that's why the real estate board in Calgary is so successful, is because that culture has been growing for years and years. So I personally want to thank the real estate board for believing in what I believe in as they carry it forward, because it definitely is the cutting edge and the best in Canada.
Well, thank you very much for that. We enjoy doing what we do every day. We're glad that it's making a difference in people's lives and that we're held in such high regard. And we will continue to do our best and hopefully keep making you proud because you certainly make us proud. I'm proud to know you. I'm very, very honored and proud to call you my friend. Yeah, that's all that I have for today. And I want to thank you guys for joining us on another episode of CREB Cast. If you feel like you would like to be a guest, please reach out to us and we would love to have you come in and tell your story. Keep being inspired and have a great day.